Hello from Hamilton, Ontario, in the watershed and at the very western tip of the great lake that is called Ontario. We are here for the Hamilton launch of the BC-inspired anthology, Sweetwater, Poems from the Watersheds, edited by Yvonne Blomer in Victoria. But before we go any further, we want to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory here of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe people, on lands protected under the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. My name is John Terpstra, and I am one of the poets in Sweetwater. This anthology is timely because here in Hamilton we're especially sensitive these days to the fate of our watersheds and waterways, because we recently were made aware of a 4-year-long spill of sewage, 24 billion litres worth, into one of our urban creeks, namely Shadok Creek. How sad is that? This online event will feature readings by a number of poets whose poems are in the anthology and who come from these parts. One of those poets, Gary Barwin, lives within a stone's throw of Shadok Creek, and he contributed a new poem about the spill. Two Hamilton singer-songwriters have risen to the unfortunate occasion with a new song each, and we'll also hear a song from a new opera on the theme of water. So this is a national launch, but with a very local twist. We originally scheduled it to take place in the beautiful Staircase Cafe Theatre on Dundurn Street North on Mother's Day, so that in the context of watersheds and poems, songs and sewage, we could also honor our other mother, our first mother, the earth, in the context of our love for one so nurturing and generous and abused. Every day ought to be Mother's Day. We hope she will be pleased, whatever day you happen to be seeing and hearing this. She, Mother Earth that is, and Yvonne, the editor, and Caitlin Press, the publisher, would be very pleased if you ordered a copy of the book, especially if you acted local and ordered it from Jamie at Epic Books on Lock Street South, or from Dave at King West Books, both in Hamilton. That's it for me. On with the show.
Commencement for Coote's Paradise. 1. Fish hovering above silt, their mouths open, hoovering the almost dark. 10,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. If humans are 60% water, heart 73%, lungs 83%, how many humans is that? Varicolored humans reaching forward, displacing the river, swimming, floating in liquid sky. Someone left a valve open. They told us in science class, love plus time equals death. No, that was my grade 9 girlfriend. Our world is sensation and memory. Our 73% brains, our 31% bones. Stellar nucleosynthesis resulting in the complex organic molecules necessary for life formed in the protoplanetary disk of dust grains surrounding the sun before the formation of the Earth, plus energy, equals city councillors. 24 billion gallons of sewage is what is going on inside of us, while 24 billion gallons of sewage is what we do on the outside, or according to David Kessler, grief. Old David Foster Wallace Fish. Morning, boys. How's the water? Young David Foster Wallace Fish. What the hell is water? 2. The moon fills bedrooms, kitchens, basements with its silver, staircases slick with shine. 24 billion gallons of fish slide into our homes, our 73% brain a stippled perch, spawning at night. Here's the heart pumping under its sheath of shad. Here's largemouth bass slithering upstream toward heart chambers. 1,000 vena cava tributaries, the watershed of our fist-sized swims. A valve releases fish and eels, frogs and water voles into our chests, our forever mudrooms and rec rooms. Here fish plus eels plus frogs plus voles equal 24 billion gallons of sewage and runoff. A mouth a kind of valve, open, large-mouthed, duck-faced, to the dark everywhere. Here our breathing strained through the weir of our teeth. How many breaths fill an Olympic pool? No, we breathe air. It's the gills of our grade 9 girlfriend, where water thins. City councillors stock pockets with frogs, fish, eels, water voles, lift glasses from their civic desks, tip lake water in. A sidereal biome, removable, a hand's worth of pond or river. Shh, the susurration of rippling. Shh, the secrets held in a closed mouth. A net, a Celtic knot of fish. What the hell, water, where fish glug and burble? Tell it truth, light slanted toward silt. What is river, is lake, is marsh, is time plus death, equals love. My grade 9 girlfriend and me on the shore of Coots Paradise, human as driftwood, twig-sized toes sunk and wet in the near-shore sandy muck, blood circulating under our high school skin, as if across the upper city, combed by waterfalls raked over escarpment cliffs, runneling down rivers into a lake where our feet stand in the cool, and, hands in each other's hands, we open our mouths to the dark, breathe stickleback, tadpole mad tom, green sunfish, fine-scale dace, northern hognose sucker. How much dark in a river, in a lake or marsh? How much light? Watershed of night, of day, those with veins, those without. No, it wasn't my grade 9 girlfriend. It wasn't me. We weren't looking at 24 billion gallons, its dark surface. 100 billion pounds of starlight gone. A nearly 100% full moon. What plus what equals this? What plus what is here to breathe the silt of this dark night?
I'm Dominique Russell, and I'm going to be reading Russell Creek. And I just want to thank Yvonne for this beautiful book, and I'm proud to be part of it, and thanks to John for organizing today. Russell Creek is probably the most lost stream around. That's from Lost Rivers, Toronto. I've worn a groove, grieving a cousin, a brother, a father, a friend hit by a truck, friends hit by sorrow. Grief, I know you. You're the heart's goon, tearing wildly at clothes, punching in the gut, your hope that hooks with brass-knuckled fact. But this, rising now like a wall of water? Did I love dragonflies, salamanders, dusky wings, lady beetles? Or even noticed wild angelica, bleeding hearts, milkweed? I hated skinks and garter snakes. I chose to live in a patchwork of cement. And yet here I am, on my knees again, while my children rescue worms. I listen for something moving, something buried that could rise.
Hi, I'm Tor Lukasik-Foss. This is a song called Water Giant. The city, they eat the giant down. And buried it underground. and stretched its arms out wide, but they could not close the giant's eye. And they sullied the giant's blood with iron and fire and mud. And they raised up lights, and they raised up noise, but they could not erase the giant's voice. No, they could not erase the giant's voice. And it said, would you pluck out an eye? Would you give half your sight for my story? Would you mar and disturb your own precious symmetry for me? In exchange for your blood, your loss, your pain, what would you gain? Just a puddle, a swamp, a drain, just sweat, saliva, rain, just the rivers, the wetlands, the bay, just the rivers, the wetlands, the bay.
Hello, my name is Robert Boats. I live in Hamilton, Ontario. I'd like to read Late September. Late September for Brian. Driving north to Athabasca through seasons fighting for conquest of an afternoon. A crack across the windshield suggested lightning. A bolt sealed in a paperweight like a scorpion, its tail poised to strike. The day is full of slaughter. Sleet-covered cattle wait to be led to market. Deer evade searching eyes. Smaller animals remain concealed, for death wears wings and is always swift. We are small beneath this sky, traveling toward the horizon. That rainbow in the distance, a sickle, a promise.
But man has come to plow the tide. The oak lies on They drive the stallion down. The roses bleed both light and dark. The winds do seldom call. The running sands recall the time when love was Lord of all.
My name is Anita Lahey, and these are excerpts from the poem Dawn River Crossings and Expeditions. A worker honeybee from the abandoned apiary in the cottage backyard of famed naturalist Charles Soriel motors over the riverbank and plunges into a wall of black swallowwort. One more newfangled post-industrial invader. It straitjackets trees and strangles dogs. Bring this mighty forager a blossom all native and nectary. Bring it a high-rise of goldenrod, an 18th century bustle of milkweed. On the double. Where is the ghost of Elizabeth Simcoe when you need her? Captain Hugh Richardson's rages and bellows caught on a putrid 1834 wind, rising from the deck of his grounded vessel at the mouth. The destroying cancer! Destructive industry! Still fury and eddy with gull screeches over the head of a repatriated wood duck, traversing the greasy pools of Keating Channel. The captain curses the Don's impassable silt. Not the tanneries, abattoirs, paper mills, flour mills, lumber mills, lantern factories, and cattle fields from which it cascaded. That particular night heron spent 2 motionless hours perched on a post, poking through the surface near a crack in the concrete that encases the lower bank. Its gray-blue bill trained on water, head feathers ever so slightly rearranged by the breeze. Mourners in the hundreds were drifting down river aboard kayak, canoe, rowboat, raft, reenacting the funeral for the Dawn. The chief keener, mid-whale, erect in the bow, spotted the stock-still bird. Fell mute. The heron's intentions were clear. People stared. Some leaned so far over to peer, like the bird, directly into the stink, their vessels began to list.
Violent through the narrows and sluggish on the plain, abandoned in the reeds of the good and bad again. Listen to the rhythm of the falling rain, telling me just what a fool I've been. Things are heating up, or things are cooling down. I'm balanced on the cusp of the quick and the drowned. The adverbs and the verbs and the nouns telling me I am eros abound. I held my tongue for a little while. I listened to the pulsing of the stream. From the refuge in the back of a dream, it was a lot like dying. Things are moving fast, or are they moving slow? I'm climbing up the mast when they tell me I must go to the cold dark station down below. With the fishes. Flailing with the past, swallowed by a wave, disgorged and reconsumed in a cyclic tale. In and out of love and in and out of jail, while all the while the sirens wail. I held my tongue for a long, long time, searching from the back of a cave for a pattern on the voices in the waves, Charybdis swirled and Scylla raged. As I sacrificed my choice, came a still small voice. Abandon all that precious silence.
This poem is called A Brief History of Settlement on Hamilton Mountain from 1789. We came to a place after many days walking, the top of a cliff, a plateau of wood and meadow, and followed a creek to its sweet water source, below an outcrop of rock tall enough to provide a broad view of this oasis from the strife we had so recently suffered in another land. We gave thanks and chose to stay, as did all of our company, each family planted beside spring and pond of creeks whose paths they traced from waterfalls over that long cliff, which served as a protective rampart to our community for 7 generations, until the young city mounted its height, stormed our fields and woodlots, buried creeks in pipes, and sent springs into hiding beneath the trees, the few left standing. The trees, those intermediaries between ourselves and our Maker, whose roots never cease to divine the living waters that my people, naked under shower heads, with kitchen faucets running full blast, forget.